Hey, Discern listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, let's watch.
Sometimes we go with
Enjoyable time. It's better than sitting at home all day. Today we are going to a winery. I'm ready to drink some wine. Yara had a night out with her friends. I've been at home playing dad, so I want a day to have some fun.
Of course you do. If Yara will give you a chance, you'll go every day.
Yeah, this is another part of last week's episode that I didn't comment on, but there were things one could comment on, which was that she wanted to go with her friends, and he was not cool about it, and being very unfair about it, and you know, making her feel guilty, and very, I don't know, double standard there in terms of what is possible. From my memory also, I think one of the factors was that when he works, he's out of town for a long period of time, number of weeks, and when he comes home, he wants concentrated time with his family or something, and so he's like, well, when I'm gone, you can hang out with your friends anytime you want. Now, she would say, well, because I can't really, because the kid at home. Anyway, he was being a jerk face, and I can't tell if it's drummed up for the show or if that's actually how he feels about things. I could see it going either way. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
The fight started with Gwen, because sometimes when Jovi will leave for work for a whole month, she will not come for that whole month. I was crying that how much that will be if my mom will be here. And Jovi just get that his mom is so much better because she's not there for me. Then when he talked to Mrs. Gwen, there was just a big fight.
Okay, interesting. So we're hearing that there's a rift between Jovi and Yara and Gwen, the mom, Jovi's mom. And we're hearing that Yara was missing her mom and really wanted Gwen to come over more frequently. From my memory, she lives quite a ways out of New Orleans, maybe an hour or two, which is, you know, kind of inconvenient. And who knows, maybe she has a lot going on in her life. Maybe she doesn't like hanging out with Yara, I don't know. But she wasn't coming over as often. Jovi and the mom got into a fight about it. I'm guessing it's a temporary fight. I think the mom and Jovi have a good enough relationship that they'll be able to repair from that. A factor in this, well, there's two factors. One is that Yara, it'd be normal but for this to be true, but I don't know if she has much of a support system yet in the United States. So that would be, if I heard this and they were my clients, that would be one question that I would raise, which is that true, and what are y'all doing to achieve that? How can we achieve that? Because Yara, if she's depending on Gwen as her sole person for support, and Gwen can't really be there all the time, then obviously you have to start diversifying. The other thing that I heard them say is that Yara only trusts Gwen as a babysitter and doesn't trust anyone else. So that's a problem, because if you live hours away from your only babysitter, then you're not likely to ever have a chance to have a babysitter. Now, it's not unusual for parents of a young child, such as their child, to be extremely selective about who is a babysitter, of course. But I wonder if they would benefit by trying out other people, maybe getting some professionals involved, maybe getting some friends of the family, or well, actually getting to know other families with similar age children, you know, play dates, this kind of thing. And that would create more flexibility so that they don't put all the pressure on Gwen, which leads to a conflict. I don't know if that's what's happening, though.
Why would I have to ask for a babysitter? People would just always show up at my house to watch Milo. It's kind of how I dreamed of it to happen, but
I'm sure your mama loves Milo so much, but it's just the fact that she knows that I had nobody besides her, and she wouldn't come over for the whole once you're away. What I'm supposed to think at that time?
No, I agree.
Okay, I don't know if I showed it, but Yara is saying in my country, in my town, mother, in-laws will come over all the time. It's just totally expected, even unannounced. And it's this wonderful, automatic, assumed support. And I think in the United States, that's much less likely for that to happen. One, because mothers won't want that amount of bother from the in-laws. Not always, of course. But also for the mothers-in-law, they're just like, look, I'm I've taken care of my fair share of children. I like to play with my grandkids, but I don't want to be the primary or a secondary caretaker of the child. I want to do other things in life. There's different values, different, lifestyles, this kind of thing. And I think there are pros and cons to either. Honestly, I think the Ukrainian version is probably more healthy because there's more support, there's more of a village raising the child, there's more connection. And our American value of cleanliness and boundaries and stay away from me is fine, but not always conducive to one's life. The other thing I wonder, because Jovi's saying, is Yara was complaining, she was upset, she talked to Jovi. Jovi gets on the phone while he's out of the country, and Jovi and the mom get in a huge fight. It makes me wonder if there's some bigger issue between Jovi and the mom, I don't know. Or if Jovi sabotaged the situation somehow or something. Because Yara is right now telling Jovi, I was telling you how I felt about Gwen, why did you go after her so strongly? And I think given what we've seen in the past, it's possible that Jovi somehow just blew the whole thing up and just like, okay, fine, if I have to deal with this, and screw it, I'm going to burn the whole thing down. I don't know. It's just hard to know what happened there.
Now, I took your side.
And I don't put responsibility on nobody. I choose to be a mother. I love to be a mother, but I will appreciate a little bit of help.
I know.
Yeah, and the other factor, of course, is that he's literally gone for weeks at a time and completely alone. And it was very important that she at least had Gwen, which probably wasn't enough, but it was something. And then when Gwen stopped coming over, she's like, oh my God, I'm completely alone in a country I'm not familiar with. I don't have any of my friends and family. I miss everyone. I'm isolated. And I mean, that's a reality right there. And if I were Yara, I would say, okay, well, Gwen is inconsistent. I knew what I was getting into when I married Jovi about his work. And so I'm going to have to start networking with other mothers, the play date situation, that can really work. You hang out most days with 2 or 3 other families with kids. And if you need a break, you could just say, hey, let's rotate the kids around to the different homes this week. And all of us will get different turns taking time off, that kind of stuff. To run errands. I mean, it's literally what parents are often just wanting to do. It's like, I'll finally be able to go to the grocery store and freely do this and that. So that's what I would encourage Yara to do. And maybe she is doing that, but it doesn't sound like it. And then, of course, you want that real bond with the other parents as well, not just the functional activities, but the feeling of support and people being in your lives. It sounds like Yara just wants more of that just closeness, right? And when he's gone and Gwen's gone, she doesn't have any of that.
Let's just try to forget about all that. Let's go out today.
No, it just hurt
have
my
fun.
feelings.
I know. I hear you getting emotional.
And it hurts my feeling because I love her. And I don't want to fight with her.
That's great. We don't usually see this on the show. It's very rare. I'm getting chills just recognizing what Yara is doing right now. She's hurt and she's crying. I love her. It hurts that she wasn't there for me. And we haven't talked to her in 6 months. I don't know if I showed that clip. Because of you. You yelled at your mom, and now I haven't talked to her in 6 months, and I love her, and I miss her, and I want her around. I like her being around. I only trust my kid with being with her. And so often in life and on the show, people will transfer that anger or that hurt into anger. Screw her. She's a judgmental B word. That's almost always what we see in the show and in life. So Yara is showing a lot of maturity, a lot of emotional awareness, a lot of positive vulnerability, which is very encouraging to the situation, because if they're going to reconcile, that's where it begins, is the ability for her to recognize that, tell Gwen, I'm sorry, I miss you, I love you, let's begin from that place. Because I'm guessing Gwen feels the same. I'm guessing that Gwen also misses them and is hurt, and that's where we can work things out. If we come at each other with anger and accusation, then it just gets worse.
I feel like my mom sometimes thought she was around too much. She drove 3 hours and come to our house to see us.
3 hours. Yeah. Wow. In my head, it was like, is it an hour and a half? Yeah, 3 hours. That's like, you think 1 hour, okay, you could probably handle that. 2 hours, 3 hours. That's like a whole kind of travel thing that you don't do very often. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, 3 hours.
And she thought she was doing what we expected her to do. But I understand where Yara's coming from, especially when I leave for work. I know she needs support from my family. She can't do this alone. This is the first big fight I've really ever had with my mom. I don't feel good about it. And it's very important for me to really fix this relationship with my mother.
Okay, so we're learning it's their first fight, which is notable. If they had this fight frequently, then that would say something. But if it's the first one, then that's interesting. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.